Following on from the previous video, we're now onto the section I wanted to make from the beginning. More advanced Windbombs that you're going to want to extensively use if you want to get faster times in speedruns. If you're just playing casually or messing around with Windbombs, then the rest of these aren't really necessary to learn, as you'll happily get by with the first 3 Windbombs. But, you know, you can carry on watching if you want, I'm not going to stop you. But if you are at this point and can't reliably do the previous Windbombs, then go back and do them until you can, as I'm going to assume you understand how the bombs interact with Link now, and stop the button by button explanations. So this first one isn't totally advanced, and is probably the easiest of the next few Windbombs, but I decided to put it in this section since it has much more variability that you need to control. Square first Windbombs have a very similar setup to standard front hop Windbombs, except the first bomb you place is the square bomb. You can perform these the exact same way as round first Windbombs, however you'll get varying results, from a lot of height with no speed, to low height and low speed, to completely failing. This is why you want some aspect of delay added. There are 3 types of delay we can add to change the result and improve consistency. Delaying our first bomb drop, delaying bullet time entry, and delaying the second bomb's placement. The order of importance for these delays follows the sequence in which they can be performed. Delaying the first bomb almost entirely determines the trajectory you'll be sent, where an early first bomb will send you low and fast, and a late will send you high and slow. Be careful though, as too early and too late will completely fail. Delaying bullet time entry, which involves waiting longer than usual to press ZR after dropping your first bomb, will accentuate the effect of the first bomb's delay. So an early first bomb will give you even less height and more speed, and a late bomb will give you more height and less speed. Delaying bullet time entry should always be done with these Windbombs, unless you're replicating an incredibly precise Windbomb, as they almost guarantee the Windbomb will launch you, even if it's a tiny delay. Finally, delaying second bomb is done in some incredibly niche scenarios where you need a precise weak Windbomb with moderate height and little speed, and is one of only 2 scenarios where I recommend using stamina usage as a visual cue. As long as your first bomb isn't incredibly early, this will give a Windbomb with very similar results each time. Dropping your second bomb between half of a wheel and 1 full wheel of stamina used will give you this trajectory each time. This type of Windbomb is almost useless, as in nearly all situations the other Windbombs are faster and more effective, and is only applicable in a couple shrines. While it might seem strange I've explained how to control the trajectory of weak Windbombs with less height and speed than standard front hops, square firsts are incredibly important in shrines, as bouncing off a wall or ceiling extends your ragdoll duration, delaying how long it takes to pull out your glider, making standard front hops totally useless. There's also some extra uses in overworld movement that I'll cover later in the efficient Windbombing section of the next video. And some quick extra notes I want to make on these square first Windbombs. They are completely unaffected by speed gap and dead angles, as you're being launched slowly by the round bomb. You'll almost always have to detonate your round bomb afterwards if you're going to Windbomb again. You cannot turn these, which will make sense later in the video if it doesn't now. Now here is where Windbombs start getting a bit more complicated. Turn Windbombs have mostly the same setup as a front hop Windbomb, but with one addition of turning Link by aiming your bow just before detonation. If you're wondering how the small act of just turning Link makes this more complicated, well, it doesn't, strictly considering the execution at least. The complication arrives from the restrictions to actually launching. If you remember from the previous video, I mentioned how speed capping and dead angles will primarily be the source of failure once you are better at Windbombs, and nothing will prove this more than turn Windbombs. These Windbombs can give you a lot of horizontal speed with a large variance on the result, depending on your initial aim and how much you turn. Turns are incredibly strong options in speedruns, as they can be set up as fast as front hops, give equal or more speed than backflips, and once understood well, can be an option select tool since you can choose your trajectory. To perform these, you want to stick to all of the requirements for a front hot wind bomb, but just before detonating, turn link between 20 degrees and 45 degrees to either the right or left. For these wind bombs, there's two crucial aspects to consider, and before I get into what these wind bombs are actually named after, I want to talk about the first aspect, your initial aim and angle. If you aim perfectly cardinal, then the direction you turn during the wind bomb will control which way you're sent, with a right turn sending you to the left and vice versa, for a middling height and speed wind bomb sending you to the sides. These perfectly cardinal launches are useful in shrines and other constrained areas, but in general overworld movement they can be improved much more by aiming off cardinal for a faster launch, with the further you aim off cardinal giving you faster launches. Even just a tiny angle off cardinal will give you much faster launches when you turn, with each extra bit you aim off cardinal giving you more speed. Once you're aiming off cardinal, the direction you turn doesn't matter, you'll always be sent the way you aimed. Recalling the previous video, I explained that the closer you get to a dead angle, the faster you will be launched, which is the same in this scenario. However, with the addition of a turn, you're also adding an extra component that contributes to this. So essentially, a rough and easy way to visualize this is your initial aim and the amount you turn are summing together towards a dead angle. Hit the dead angle and your launch fails. Anything below it and you'll launch. If you're thinking, why even turn at all then if you can just aim before a dead angle for speed? Well, turns allow you to aim wherever you want for this speed, instead of being locked into that one specific angle. To explain the amount you must turn, the numbers I said earlier are somewhat arbitrary, as there's no exact amount to turn, but if you turn too little, then there will be negligible difference from a standard front hot wind bomb. Turn too much and you'll either fail the wind bomb, get a weak launch, or get something that could be better done with another type of wind bomb. Turn the correct amount and you'll get a wind bomb that will launch you more to the sides with less height and more speed. Using the numbers I outlined before, the closer you get to this 45-degree turn, the faster and lower you'll go, while also being sent more to the sides. Once you're past this point, however, the results start to diminish, so you can think of it as a bell curve, with 45 degrees being the peak and optimal turn. And for the additional notes on turns, turns at ordinal angles largely shouldn't be done as they only stifle launches. However, if your initial aim is at a dead angle, you can turn towards an ordinal angle to get a successful launch. Pretty much all mid-airs should be turned unless you need maximum height or precision. The turn should take as little time as possible, as delaying detonation will completely change the launch. You might see people either stay in bow aim or exit it just before detonating, but this doesn't make much of a difference in the launch of standard turns. Looking down or up while turning can be done to avoid leg stopping and won't change the launch. Turns will always exaggerate your initial angle, so you never want to directly aim on where you want to go unless it is a very far distance. Similar to a turn in that we can add something extra to our Windbomb setup to alter the result, we can also add some kind of delay to a Windbomb. I went over this a little bit in the square first section, where you have to delay entering bullet time, but for standard round first Windbombs there's a bit more nuance. There's two kinds of delay you can add to a Windbomb setup, delaying bullet time entry and delaying detonation. First I want to cover delaying detonation. In a cardinal direction, delaying detonation will result in a lower height and lower speed launch, very similar to square first Windbomb. For ordinal directions you'll get less height but more speed. These are great options for when height isn't needed, as you can get some very fast launches. Depending on your delay, there's quite a range in which you can adjust the height and speed. Being able to select the height and speed you want will take a lot of practice, but luckily there isn't too many places where that's a requirement. Generally, ordinal angles follow the consistent rule of the longer the delay, the faster you will go. For delaying bullet time entry, the exact same scenarios will play out as delaying detonation. Cardinals give overall worse wind bombs, and ordinals will give lower and faster wind bombs. When you combine both of these, the effect of it will be further enhanced. However, there is a limit to how far you can delay before speed cap or bomb misalignment will cause a failure. So how are these advanced if all you're doing is delaying to get results similar to what we've already seen with more reliable wind bombs? Well, this is where I introduce delayed turns. A delayed turn is exactly what it sounds like, doing a turn wind bomb that includes some kind of delay. And again, this isn't very hard in an execution sense, but the limitations of speed cap are at their absolute peak here. As with regular turn wind bombs, delayed turns at an ordinal angle will only stifle the launch. but turning towards ordinal from a dead angle can save the launch. Also, as with regular turns, the best results come from angles that are off cardinal. The delay you really want to focus on here is the bullet time entry, as this one has more of an effect on how the bombs will align compared to delaying detonation, and will also take up less stamina when aiming for similar trajectories. The longer you delay entering bullet time after placing the round bomb, the faster and lower you will go, even sending you downwards at times. But this does have its limits, as too long of a delay will completely fail. Delaying detonation still has its merits though, as it can achieve the same trajectories at a slightly higher stamina cost, it can save a failed delayed bullet time, or it can be combined to enhance the speed of a wind bomb even further for some incredibly fast wind bombs, getting you to the peak wind bomb speeds before even using super launches. For delayed launches, all the reasons for failure from a standard front arc wind bomb will still apply, and for delayed turns, the same reasons for failure from turn wind bombs and delayed wind bombs will apply. For the additional notes on delays, you have a lot less control over delayed wind bombs at cardinal angles than square first wind bombs, so it's usually better to use square first wind bombs inside shrines or other situations where you need a weaker launch. For delayed turns, it can be very beneficial to exit bow aim after turning, so you can clearly see the bomb's alignment to tell how your launch will send you, especially so if you're going to delay detonation too. Delayed turns are one of the strongest options for traveling medium to large distances when there's no quick and easy bullet time bounces, but will take a lot of practice to be able to consistently get the fastest launches without speed capping. While the test of strength skip wind bombs are just an extended way of performing a standard front hop wind bomb, they are important enough to have their own section. These wind bombs allow you to launch over the cutscene trigger that raises the elevator, stopping the Guardian from spawning, saving time with a fast setup, and letting you freely clip through. For test of strength skips, you want to place the first bomb on this ledge, on the elevator side of the fence. Run around to the other side. Jump at the fence so Link attempts to climb, lining him up correctly. Hold ZL and rotate the camera backwards. Backflip and hold ZR to enter bullet time, and turn around completely. Place your second bomb and detonate. There's two methods for performing this that are very similar, with only slight timing differences on placement and detonation timings. The difference comes from which bomb you place down first. For the round first method, you follow everything outlined before, but turn just before detonating the bomb, so you get sent at more of a diagonal angle to have a much lower chance of clipping the cutscene trigger. This is the easier of the two, but usually sends you only halfway to the end of the room. For the square first method, you want to do everything the same up to the backflip, except place the square bomb down first. After backflipping and entering bullet time, you want to immediately exit bow aim so you can see your stamina. Drop the round bomb at a third of stamina used, and detonate the square at 2/3 stamina used. Done correctly, it will send you high enough to skip the cutscene and sail over the gap in the middle, while being low enough to not bonk on the ceiling. Now we're getting into slightly more niche wind bombs that aren't as commonly used as others, but still have decent merit, especially so with fast midairs. These should only really be practiced once you're proficient at standard midair wind bombs, as you really have to understand the bomb's alignment to reliably perform them. Speaking in strictly an execution sense, fast midairs are probably the hardest to perform of the common wind bombs, as they require fast inputs within a short window. To perform them, you want to be travelling at the maximum unboosted gliding speed. Drop the round bomb, immediately switch to the square bomb, drop the square, then activate bullet time and detonate. This is one of the few wind bombs that will activate bullet time after dropping both bombs, and will need some serious practice to reliably perform correctly. Once you can though, they can replace any midair wind bomb that doesn't need height, as they take very little stamina and send you at speeds that are consistently faster than almost every other possible midair setup. Make sure you're doing all the inputs quickly, as fast inputs are the key to lining up the bombs correctly, but take care when trying to quickly drop your square bomb after switching bombs, as the quick menu can easily eat the input. For additional notes on fast midairs, there's very little control over them compared to every other wind bomb, so they're best used as quick backups or when precision or height aren't needed. Since the bomb's lineup is almost a straight line into Link, you don't have to worry about your initial angle. You can aim anywhere, with angles off cardinal giving the fastest speeds. Since fast midairs give little to negative height, they're very good options for when you have to fall, as you can delay your glider pull while rapidly descending with speed. While uncommon, fast midairs can speed cap. Now the Windbomb that pretty much only sees use in 100%. Spider Windbombs involve starting from a climbing position and jumping backwards from the wall to emulate the front hop of a standard Windbomb. These allow you to Windbomb from anywhere that Link can climb, but have less versatility than other Windbombs, as the jump from the wall restricts how the bombs can be placed to reach different trajectories. They are strong options in places where it's not easy or quick to get bullet time by other means and where your destination is somewhere close by, but otherwise, other Windbombs are generally better. All the rules and restrictions of a standard front hop Windbomb apply to spiders, but make sure that your L press isn't too quick so that the jump from the wall doesn't eat the input, and that your ZR press isn't too quick, as you can enter bullet time much earlier than a standard front hop, since you're already high off the ground. Probably the least useful of all Windbombs, with only very select use cases, is the vertical Windbomb. It's a Windbomb that trades almost all speed for pure height, pretty much only finding use in a couple shrines, as there's not many locations where you don't want to get any forward momentum. Execution wise, these are probably just behind fast midairs in their difficulty, as the timing window and placement of the bombs is very strict. To perform these, you want to place the square bomb on the ground a short distance away from a ledge, backflip towards this bomb, drop the round bomb mid backflip and enter bullet time at the same time, then detonate. If done correctly, you'll go flying straight up, almost like Rivali's Gale, but with even more height. For the best results, you want to detonate the square bomb as they align in a perfectly straight line while Link is mid backflip, although you can still launch if the backflip animation is complete. It'll just weaken the launch a little. For a somewhat normalized setup, you can hold ZL and climb onto a ledge. While Link is in this climbing animation, you can drop your square bomb behind you to have a standardized setup, so you don't have to worry about bomb placement and can get an idea for the distance it should be placed. On ledges that you can't ZL climb, you have to manually place the square bomb, so practice on the ledges you can do the standardized setup first. And that about covers it for the advanced Windbombs we know so far. There are more types of Windbombs out there, but some of them are so specific, awkward, or just don't provide anything these Windbombs already don't, that I've decided to skip over them. In the last video of this short series, I intend to go over efficient usage of Windbombs, which will entirely be speedrun focused. And hopefully in this one, I've taught you a thing or two about these trickier Windbombs.